Hi guys, it's Jeff here, the photographer's mentor. Hope you're having a good week. So it's the final week of October, so November's just around the corner, and the big run up for Christmas portraits, lots of wedding bookings coming in, ready for a really successful 2022. So today we have Ron and Yotam from ImagenAI. So I first got in contact with these guys about 2 weeks ago, and we had a little chat on Zoom, and he showed me a brief overrun of how ImagenAI works. Now, I first found out about it because a client of mine who works in Paris is a wedding photographer, and she'd heard about loads of people going on about it in a wedding photographers forum group that she's a member of. And these people were saying it's massively reducing their image editing time. Well, you know me, I'm a big one for any time that you can reduce from your editing, because that means essentially you can be spending more time on your marketing, more time growing your business, more time doing more shoots, and potentially more time with your family. So when I heard about it, I thought this is a fantastic idea. I really want to find out more. So I did the Zoom with the guys and then asked them if they would like to come on to LinkedIn to do a LinkedIn Live. They've been very kind to also provide me with a free code which will allow you to have 1,500 free edits, so you can try imaging out with no cost whatsoever to yourself. So you can try it out and see how you find it within your business. Because remember, there's that whole thing that you've got to be working on your business, not constantly working in it. Because if you want your business to grow, you need to be doing stuff every single day to be reaching out to more people, marketing your brand more profitably, and getting new clients. And unfortunately, spending loads and loads of time editing pictures doesn't help you grow your business. So I'm going to bring the guys in. We're going to do a bit of a demo. We're going to take some questions as well. We're going to use examples of wedding photographers, talk about how it's helping portrait photographers, commercial photographers as well. And as we're going along, if you have any questions at all, just give me a shout. So I'm just going to bring the guys in. Hello. Hi, Ron. Hi, Yotam. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for having us, Jeff.
Brilliant. So where are you from? You're in Israel, that's right?
Yeah, we're from Tel Aviv. Just moved to our new offices, so we're still accumulating here.
Yeah, settling down.
Yeah.
The weather looks much better than the UK anyway. Fantastic. So how long has ImagenAI been going then?
It's been going over for a little more than a year now. But the first line of code was written about 3 years ago, when Yoav, our third partner, got married, and he, like myself, we're both coming from the fields of computer vision and deep learning, and he had to wait for 3 months for his photos to come back to him. As a wedding photographer, that might sound like normal, but for computer people and for people who work all day with computers and are regular to milliseconds feedback, so three months is like eternity. So
he started working. As somebody who's just been married, when you just married, you want to see the pictures as soon as possible, don't you? You're excited, and you can't wait to see them.
Exactly, and as a customer, you don't really know what's happening behind the scenes. You don't really know that photographers are working that hard on editing, which is one of the problems, because it's really underestimated, this type of work. Yoav started to work with his photographer that was luckily very cooperative and became our first user. And that was about a year and a half ago. And we created some kind of proof of concept. And we learned basically 3 things that were really important for photographers. One, and that was the reason they couldn't use any generic enhancement tool to that point, was that each photographer has its own editing style, and everyone wants to preserve this style and want to maintain this style, and that's part of the brand, part of the value they give to the client, and part of how they market themselves. So it's really important to save and maintain this personal style. The second one is that you want to keep and to stay on top of your editing, and to maintain control over your editing style. And you can't just get the exported photo. You can't just get the final result and and take it or leave it. You have to be able to keep adjusting it and changing it. And I think that the last thing is that, like any other person, you keep changing, you keep evolving, and you want this technology to reflect your continuous evolution. So that was what we started with, and we then created ImagenAI. And I think the big thing about it is that it actually learns how you edit. And I think that's the big differentiation, and that's the big value it gives to our customers. We take their edited photos and we build an assistant that can actually edit like them.
So basically, and if anybody's watching, if you just want to pop in how long you think you spend editing each job, well, obviously it'll be different with your jobs because some of these will be wedding photographers, some will be portrait photographers. Just a rough idea of how long you spend editing, how many hours you spend editing your photos. So ImagenAI is different. It's not like an action that you run through Photoshop that just a generic thing and fixes the same presets onto everything. It looks at your photo. So it says, when this photograph is like this, Jackie edited her photo like this to give this end result. Is that correct? So it looks at every single scenario that you do. And Jackie's just said days and days for her editing. So Jackie said, we'll look at every single scenario that you do. So if you say, for instance, you take a picture outdoors, then you come indoors, and then you go back outdoors and you photograph somebody under a tree and you've got a bit of a green cast, you will be going into those photos, making different adjustments, different alignments to each image. And then what I believe is ImagenAI then looks at all those different scenarios and says, when Jackie does an image like this is how the end result is, and it mimics what you do. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, unlike preset, which will simply apply the same values for all your photos, you will have to go over each and adjust them according to their different lighting condition, different scenery. So we actually analyze each photo, and based on the history of your edits, we find what we think or how we think that you would edit this specific photo. So if you go over the photos, you would see that each photo is edited differently. Each photo is getting different editing parameters. But what's important for us is that you would say all the photos are edited consistently. I mean, I can see how they are all edited the same style, same consistent style, and they all reflect my style. So it's really close to how I would edit these photos.
So what does the app actually look at when it's looking at the images? Does it look at like the color saturation, the white balance, the brightness, the contrast, that sort of stuff?
So this is a part of where I say when I say we don't know. Because and this is I started doing deep learning and computer vision and machine learning and AI a couple of years ago, and what I really like about it is that we can't interpret everything. So I always give this example of a little child that you show him examples of a cat and a dog, and after you show him enough examples, he can understand by himself that this is a cat and this is a dog. You don't actually tell him, listen, cat looks like that. He has, pointy ears. Dog looks like that. He has like this kind of fur. So you don't really tell him what to look for, but he actually understands by himself what to look for. So same thing goes for AI. You show him enough examples. You don't really say, look at the white balancing, look at the lighting condition. You show him enough examples of edited photos with a consistent style. So you show him, and we need at least 5,000 photos, which is, I know it sounds like a lot, but I guess most of professional photographers do have 5,000 edited photos ready. So we show enough edited photos, and we say, listen, for this database of edited photos, this is the result. And we show that to the AI, and it will just learn by itself the correlations, the relations
Right.
between this photo and this editing.
So what sort of file? Jackie's asking what sort of files it looks at. Is that RAW files, JPEG files, TIFF files? How
Yes. So
do you have to be imported in as a RAW file?
yeah. So what we would do is we actually communicate with Lightroom catalogs. We know how to extract all the data from Lightroom catalogs, and we extract the raw files themselves or the smart previews. If you work with smart previews, that's okay also, and the editing parameters. So for the teaching parts, we take the photos, we take the editing parameters, and we teach the AI with the raw files as input and the editing parameters as output. And once this profile is ready and the AI can actually understand your style and your editing preferences, so you have a profile on our side, and what we need is the Lightroom catalog. So you say, this is my Lightroom catalog, I would like to edit this catalog. We take all the photos, we upload them compressed to our cloud, and we find the right edit, and then you download the edits, and we automatically update your catalog. So next time you open Lightroom, you will see everything already edited for you automatically.
Great. And have you've got an example of this, haven't you? That you're going to be able to show us and how the app actually works.
Sure. So let me share my screen for a second. Jeff, can you move to that?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
So what you see here is the app that we have. It's on top of Lightroom in the background. And we basically have four functions here. So the first one is teach, where you actually teach the AI how you edit. The other one is edit, download, and fine tune. So let me go over them in a little more detail. So in the teach part, if I click on the teach option, so I will have to create a new profile or to choose an existing profile that I already have. Let's create a new profile for a second. And then we tell you about how to build a perfect profile. Teaching the AI might be complicated, and we want you to send the best data for us to create the perfect profile. So the most important two guidelines are, first, to include only photos edited with consistent editing style. So if your style has changed over the years, if you feel like you have two different editing styles, include only one editing style in this for this profile. And the more data you give to AI, the better results it will give you. So try to include as many edited photos as possible. The minimum is 5,000, but if you have 10,000, 20,000, we have profiles built with hundreds of thousands of photos. So include as many as you can. And then I click create a profile. I give this profile a name. So this is something for me, I mean, just to know which kind of profile that. So I can call it my weddings 2021.
So would you create different profiles, one for weddings, one for portraits, so sort of like one for your outdoor work and another one for your studio work?
So that really depends on my style. I mean, if I feel like I edit differently weddings and portraits, then yes. I can say that most of our customers only have one profile, and they include all the photos that they do edit with this profile, but they do have only basically one editing style. So they always edit the same.
Right.
So, and then I can choose if I shoot RAW or JPEG. This is kind of confusing because people are not sure if they should choose JPEG or RAW because they shoot RAW and they export JPEG. So in this selection, you need to choose the type of file that you're shooting. So I think that according to our latest statistic, about 90% of the photographers are shooting RAW. So probably the right answer would be to choose RAW here. And you can choose if you want to create a color profile or a black and white profile. Again, most of the people choose to create a color profile.
Because Chris has just asked, would I need to set up different wedding profiles for color and for black and white images?
Yes, so we still don't do that automatically. I don't know if we'll ever do that automatically, because this is more, we feel like it's more an artistic choice of which photos to choose to edit black and white, and which one to choose to edit this color. So yeah, you need to create two profiles, one for color and one for black and white, and to choose by yourself if you want, I mean, which photos you want to edit with which profile.
Okay.
Okay, so I choose raw and color, I choose create, and now I would have to edit photos from a catalog. So I click the add edit photos from catalog, and here I need to choose a Lightroom catalog. So I can choose from my recent catalogs. So this is the catalog that I've been editing recently. I can also click browse and actually look for the Lightroom catalog file on my computer, or I can actually drag and drop it to here if I want. Let's choose just one. I have a catalog with just one photo here, and then I will see all the folders within this catalog with number of images inside and the date in which I worked on this project. I give this project a name also, so this could be like Ross and Rachel's wedding. And again, this is just for me to identify the project. So later on, if you speak to us and you tell us, listen, this project was edited a little differently, we might want to exclude this from the profile. So this is a way to communicate between us.
Right.
I can also use the image filters here to decide if I want to exclude some of the photos. So for example, if I only edit photos with 5 stars, then I can remove all the check mark for here and only use the 5-star photos. Or if I have any different culling system, for example, green, blue, purple are the colors I give to images that I edit, so I will only include these ones here. If all the photos in this catalog are edited, then I should do no change here and simply click select all and select all the folders within this catalog and click choose. The name should be unique. Okay, and I keep doing that. I keep adding photos from a catalog until I reach at least 5,000 photos. And we meet all kind of, some photographers have one catalog in which they edit all their photos. Some photographers have like a different catalog for each project, a different catalog for each year. So many different options, but we support them all. So if you have one catalog, you can simply select all the folders from within this catalog. If you have a different catalog, then simply click this button several times and choose a different catalog. So everything is possible. Once I reach 5,000 images, I click send, and then we will fetch and we will get all the data from the catalog, including the data about the photos, including data about the editing, and then we'll start creating your profile. Creating the profile takes about 2 to 3 days. The AI needs to go over all the photos and actually digest and process them and understand how you edit. And after 2 to 3 days, you get an email saying your profile is ready. You can now use it. So then you go to the second phase and you click edit. So when you click edit, you actually do the same. You choose a Lightroom catalog, but the difference is this time this catalog is not edited yet. So you simply opened a Lightroom catalog, imported the photos to this catalog, and you now want to send them and edit them with your profile. So I will choose the same catalog here just for demonstration. I give it a name, so your time wedding, and I will choose an editing profile. In this case, I don't have my own profile, but the talents profile. We will later explain what are the talents profiles. But basically, they are predefined profiles that you can use without building your own profile. So I will choose one of them. I can choose if I want to crop my photos and the AI to crop my photos and the AI to straighten my photos. I can choose if I want to apply each. Again, I can choose which photos I want to send for editing. So if I have all the photos inside the Lightroom catalog, and I want to edit only some of them, then I can do that here. I select the folder, click choose, and start sending for editing. This part is really fast, so the photos are being uploaded to the cloud compressed. And once the photos are on the cloud, it takes about 1 second per photo to be processed. So if we speak about 1,000 photos, it's about 20 minutes for the entire project to be processed. And then I get another email saying that the edit is ready. And the next step for me is go to download and choose the name of the project that I gave before here and click start download. When I click start download, we will download the edits that the AI outputted, and we will automatically update your Lightroom catalog. So next time you open Lightroom, you don't have to do anything. You just open Lightroom with this catalog, and you will see everything already edited. So this is an example of an edited photo. You can see that all the sliders here are already moved to the current position, to the right position.
Yep.
When I say right position, I mean the style that this specific photographer liked. You can see this is the photo before. You can see that it's been straightened and cropped and actually edited with this specific style.
So how does it work, the crop? Does it look at how much you leave at the top of heads and how?
Yeah, so
I do not know how it works out.
Yeah, unlike the color correction, cropping and straightening is not individual for each photographer. So it was trained with millions of photos, and it's not as subjective as color correction. So it will basically have the same straightening and cropping for all the photographers. But yeah, as you mentioned, yeah, it will try to build some saliency map of understanding what's important in the photo and crop the things that are not important.
Yeah. So that would be brilliant for like sort of school photography where you've got, you're sitting the kids in the same position all the time and you're shooting with a bit of space, but it can crop down and keep the same distance above the head on each image.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, and the last part. So now you have everything edited, and what you're left to do with is go over the photos and do some fixes if you want. So you can go over each photo and say, listen, this is very close to my style, but I would actually add a little bit more exposure to that. So I would add more exposure and a little bit less contrast and whatever. I go over the photos and edit to get to my final look. And then I go back to the software, and this is a very important phase because this is the feedback loop for the AI. This is how the AI keeps improving and keep becoming better. And I click the fine tune. And when I click the fine tune, I just need to choose again the project name that I gave before, and we will simply upload the final edits of you. So the profile will keep learning you and will keep reflecting your style better, and will keep evolving with your style. One question that we get a lot, and I wanted to emphasize here, is that not on every fine-tuned project that you send, you will see the difference in the profile. So it takes a couple of thousands of final edits for the profile to actually show a significant enough change. So don't expect that if you got the edit and you change something and you send the final edits via the fine-tune option, so the next project will be much different. But with time and a couple of thousands of examples, this profile will change with you and will reflect your preferences that you send via the fine-tune option. Yeah.
So I suppose it works on a basis of it's averages, isn't it? So if you put over, so for instance, I put over a wedding of 1,000 images, what sort of percentage would you say would come back the way that I wanted?
So that's really subjective, but we are saying 75% because this is what we hear from this is what we initially heard, but we get more and more feedback saying that I didn't need to touch anything, or people saying, listen, it saves me 99% of my editing time because I only needed to review the photos, go over them once very quickly, and deliver them to my customers. So that really changes. And what I can say, and I want to emphasize once more the importance of your data. So the more consistent your data is, and the more examples you send, the better your profile would be, and the more time you would be able to save on editing. So this is really important, and I couldn't emphasize it enough,
So Kirsten has asked, can AI learn from RAW plus XMP? And Jonathan has asked, can he disable certain adjustments, such as like choose no cropping? Well, I know you can switch the cropping bit off, can't you?
So for the first question, so we are communicating directly with Lightroom catalogs. So if you have raw photos in XMP, simply import them to Lightroom and use this Lightroom catalog to send the photos. About the second question, can you repeat it?
Yeah, so Jonathan had asked, can you disable certain adjustments like choosing? Well, I know you can choose not to have the crop. Is there other adjustments that you can say, like, don't do this on these particular images?
So yeah, you can disable the crop and straightening, but for the color correction you can disable. But it's in Lightroom, and I find out that many people don't know that, but you can actually work on library mode on Lightroom and use autosync, and do the same operation for all the photos. So if, for example, for a certain project you don't want to change one of the parameters, you can simply turn on autosync and set the same value for all your photos. So yeah.
And then Thomas has just asked, can the software create clipping masks? For instance, if all the uploaded examples are products clipped on a white background or with an alpha channel?
So I hope that I understand the question, but all the changes that we have so far are global changes. So we only change global parameters of the photo, and we edit today about 50 parameters of the photo. We're still not doing anything which is local to the photo, so we're not doing radial changes, local adjustment, brushes. We don't do that today, but we definitely plan to do that in the near future. So actually, spotting a certain area of the picture that we think you would edit differently, mainly like faces and stuff like that, and edit that with different parameters, if we see that you do that in your database of examples.
Brilliant. So what sort of photographers, or what percentage of photographers use ImagenAI for like different niches? So is it favored more by wedding and portrait photographers, or do you have a broad catalogue of photographers working with ImagenAI?
So first of all, just before we answer, one quick thing about the demonstration. Here on the screen, you can see in the notification area, you can see that clicking here function. So once you finish uploading 5,000 or more edits for teaching, just make sure to notify us that you are ready for training, or your profile is ready for training. So this is just a quick note.
Yep.
As for the diversity of our photographers and the domains that we support. So basically, it's easy to explain it with batch editing. Our solution is solving a big pain of spending a lot of time in tedious work. And this is mainly for the domains of wedding, events, real estate, food, and portrait, obviously, family photo shoots, school photography. So those are the domains that we see mainly, but we do have interesting use cases also in sport. This is a very interesting use case that just we recently saw. So these are the usual domains. And I think that most of the feedback we're receiving is that in these domains, it's a game changer. It's definitely a game changer in the workflow. So yeah.
I think that what was interesting for us to reveal was that we first came up with the solution because we thought about photographers who need to edit thousands and thousands of photos. But then, as Ron mentioned, we found out that there are also photographers that don't have to edit that many photos, but they need a turnaround time very quick.
Yeah.
So, for example, sports. So, you're in a live event, you want to show your edited photos as fast as possible. So you either take an editor that sits with you, or you spend your time editing during the event, or you can actually send it to AI editing and get the results right away.
So So this is the different. It's a shift in paradigm, right? It's like you're becoming now, you're QAing the photos. You're making sure that these looks good and they're ready to shipping. This is a shift in paradigm that we are very, very happy to hear and get the feedback.
Yeah, I know certain photographers in the UK here, that they might do the daytime part of the wedding, and when the bride and groom are sitting down having their meal, they're eating their food, then they'll quickly edit a few images to maybe put on a slideshow for the first dance, so that the couple can see the images. So I mean that would be a game changer, wouldn't it? Because you could just set away, a couple of hundred pictures, and you'd have that done in 15 minutes or less, and that was be ready to use.
This is very interesting. This is a very interesting point, like that we recently heard. Like we always treat, like our core value proposition as time saving and productivity, but we recently getting more and more feedback that this is actually change, like the customer relationship. That a photographer can communicate with the customer and show them, initial result in like hours, and say what you think. It's like coming, more are coming up next, and things are. We know that this is definitely impacting the satisfaction level, the overall communication, and obviously the turnaround time. But this is, all these things are coming as a result of time productivity, consistency, and then something that are more mental, I would say, that like spending time with your family, or just like having a better communication with your client.
I mean, I think for big events as well, it's fantastic because it means with especially if you're doing an event where you're literally taking thousands of pictures over the course of the event, you can have but the thing is, usually with events, the event organizers are very desperate to get the images, so you can effectively have the entire event sorted by the next day. So I think that would be, a big game changer for event photographers, because with event photography, it's a lot more sort of like little tweaks. It's not going in and photoshopping people, because it's not like boudoir or sort of like, like high-end portraiture where you go into every single images and you're touching up the skin tone, you're touching up the skin and stuff like that. So I think for event photography, it would be absolutely amazing. One of the Jackie has just asked, by the way, Jonathan, the link is there. So if you can just so it's www.imagen-ai.com and then join-referral !ref and then equals focus on marketing. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's up on the screen there, Jonathan, and I will afterwards post it in the comments. But I think if you scroll back up to the top of the comments here, before this went live, I did actually post it in the comments here. Jackie's asked quite a good question. How safe is it with regards to GDPR, protecting your images? Are your photographs safe once they're uploaded to the AI?
Yeah, so everything is stored on highly secured servers, and we follow all the GDPR. I mean, we're GDPR compliant, and everything is, we understand the importance of, this data is really private, and we never want to anything, leak out. So, everything is securely stored on highly secured servers.
More than that, your profile is your own. Like there is only one profile is yours. So there is, once you create your profile, this is only unique to your editing style, and you are the only one that can use it. So everything is well managed here in terms of privacy and also management of your own, as we call it, your own IP.
Okay. And if somebody was setting up, is there? I mean, it looks fairly straightforward anyway, because you just connect it and then download your back catalog. It learns, you get the notification, and then you're pretty much ready to go. Is the support and explainer videos if people need that?
Yeah, sure. So we try to be very accessible. You can actually schedule a demo with us. You can watch the videos in the Knowledge Center. You can drop us an email. So, I mean, we are here for any questions.
And feedbacks.
Yeah.
And so what's the biggest thing that you're getting back from different types of photographers? What do they found that is the real benefit? And I know that you shared a couple of, when we spoke, you shared, I think it was some Trustpilot feedback. And I know that the photographer who put me onto you in the first place has said, you know, you were getting some brilliant feedback in a few wedding forums. So what are photographers saying about the software?
Yeah, I mean, we are very lucky to have amazing people around us, and our customers just like overall, photographers are just a great and warm and very, I would say, supportive people. Like, we are very lucky to get a lot of feedbacks, very supportive feedback, and some is lined in Trustpilot that you can actually read. These comments that we are reading as same as you.
Yeah.
It's like we go day by day and just read them, and this is really warming. The main feedback that we see is that ImagenAI is a game changer. It's definitely the time saving is just critical to gain more jobs done, to spend time with family, to focus on photography, which people really love, and to focus maybe in retouching. That's also a big thing that we heard, that thanks to ImagenAI, I can actually spend more time in Photoshop, let's say, and do much more deep manipulation if I would like, or more artistic type of projects. One comment that I really like is that this is, it's an evolution of the industry. If it was from, like analog to digital, then to Lightroom, and then to, all the culling mechanism. So now color correction using AI. This is part of the evolution of the whole industry. Yeah, I think these are the main key feedback that we are receiving.
And where do you see ImagenAI going in the future, going into 2022? Is there any big developments, or is it top secret? Can you not tell us?
No, we are. I mean, Yotam will answer it, but as a mindset and an approach, like, we are like building this product based on the feedback we are receiving and requests. So we do ask everyone to share their thoughts, share the feedback, what they would love to see in it, and so on. But we definitely line up some big things. So
yeah. So I mean, there are some things that we can't share yet because we're not sure about ourselves. But we are planning to have, as I mentioned, the local adjustments that many people are asking for. We're going to we get really good feedback for straightening, but we are still going to improve that and the cropping. And we have many things coming up next. I can't really share them now, but stay tuned.
Brilliant. And I think one thing we didn't touch on was the you have effectively the like presets, don't you?
yeah,
From
yeah, they are not
specialist
presets.
photographers.
Sorry,
Yeah,
they are not
yeah.
presets. It's like that's like I do want to emphasize this point, because this is something that I'm always like we're here in the team, like we always like correct each other when someone say preset. These are personalized profile based on AI, and you're right. There is, like, a few months ago, I think Yotam or Yoav came up with the idea of talents. So talents basically are predefined profile based on talents that we cherry picked. Like, we approach them and say, hey, we really love your style. We think that this is something very unique. We are trying to find different styles that can answer different scenarios and needs in photography, and also diverse as possible. From all the spectrum of the photographer out there. and then you, without the need to create your own profile, uploading 5,000 or more edits, you can simply download ImagenAI and then pick one of these talents and and edit your photos based on their style. So imagine that you can edit your whole catalog, your new catalog, like this type of photographer that you admire or you following, and that will happen instantly.
So for instance, if there's a photographer in there who does maybe some sort of like vintage style editing for wedding photography, and that's the type of style that it is aligns to what you want to be producing. If you're like a new photographer, then you can just upload your images and it will edit your raw images to that particular style. Or is that right?
Yes, that's exactly. But one thing like to kind of highlight is that it's the process of editing is the same, meaning that ImagenAI will actually review the photo and then will predict the edits based on how this photographer would do. So it's not like a vintage filter for everything. It will be personalized edit for every photo, for each unique photo, based on how this photographer thinks.
Okay.
With a vintage editing style. What I want to I think the big thing here, at least as I see it, is the idea that an editing style is like an IP for a photographer. So this is something you created, and it's yours now. So
yeah,
the talents in our system, they actually built something for many years. They built their editing style, which is unique and personal to them. And they're actually, this is, an asset they have now. They can actually sell the usage of this asset, and it really connects to all the, digital world assets, digital, NFT. So you have like an actual abstract asset that you can sell and you have developed for many years. And we really, in continue to our request to send us feedback, we'd really like to ask the listeners if you have like some photographer that you like and some photographer you're following up on and you think would be a good person or a good photographer to add to our talents list. So please let us know.
So when you say talents, this will clear it up with Jackie. So these are people who are effectively like brand ambassadors for yourself. So they don't mind this. They don't mind their work being copied by other people, as in the editing sort of format. These people are brand ambassadors. It's not just somebody who you've picked and you're copying their style sort of thing.
We pick them, and they are getting royalties for every photos edited with their style. They are getting compensated.
We have our brand ambassador. This is different. We have our brand ambassador program, which is totally different from talents. Right. Talents are literally like we are lucky to have Zoe on board from our team. Zoe, I, and
Zoe,
are curating photography. We are following photography. We are trying to be on top of the trends, the current trends, and the historic talents that are in this industry. We are contacting them. We are qualifying them. We are making sure that their style is consistent. Each one of the talents profile is being trained on a very large data set. So it's not the usual 5,000 or more. This is usually 20K, 30K, 40K. And we even have like one of the talents that is 100K and more. Meaning that this type of profile usually will be, even the 75% that Yutam mentioned, usually will be a much higher percentage because the accuracy rate would be much more, I would say, precise. And as for the 75%, just as a final note about that, it's not mean that you need to redo the photo, meaning that you just need to fine-tune the photo.
Yeah, and then from that tweak, it will relearn from that tweak, and then that will continue. I'll just have a check through the questions. So Elsie has said, if I set up a profile, can it be used across multiple devices? I use the desktop and laptop, so would I be able to use the account on both machines?
I will answer it. So of course, as long as you sign up with the credential, I mean, you need to download the application to all your computer, let's say. Let's say that you have multiple, even we know a use case that, multiple, like, for example, people working on the same profile, that you created. Let's say it's your talent, but multiple people work using it. So you just need to log in with the credential and pick the profile you want to edit with.
Great. And then Jackie has said, so once the 1,500 free edit trial is over, so anybody who's just tuned in, there's a free edit trial code there as you can see, displayed, and that gives you 1,500 free edits from ImagenAI, so you don't have to pay for anything. You can go in, try it out, see how it works on your catalog from Lightroom. So once it's over, what is the cost? Is it a monthly subscription? Is it a cost per image?
Yeah. So to answer the question, is a subscription that you sign up using this. You click on subscribe on the app, and you sign up. You insert your credit card details, and then you basically monthly subscribe to ImagenAI, where you pay per usage. So for every image, you pay for its usage, and I'm going to explain the tiers in a second. But just to give you the rationale about why 1,500 free edits, we know that here in Israel, for example, a wedding is about 1,000. So we basically want you to try out a project, a full-blown project, and you see that the impact is very high, and the turnaround and the workflow is definitely change. So this is why the logic of this type of trial. As for the tiers, you want to explain how the tier works?
Yeah, sure. So we tried to be as much as aligned with a photographer's business model. So since a photographer is getting paid for each wedding, so we find out that the most reasonable, pricing model would be to charge per project. We actually charge per photo, which is kind of equivalent to a project. And you pay for the first 1,000 photos in the same month, you pay 6 cents per photo. For the next 4,000 photos, you
That's
pay US dollars, yeah.
Yeah.
Then for the next 4,000 photos, you pay 5 cents, US cents. And then for the photo of 5,001 and above, you pay 4 cents per photo. So if you send approximately 1,000 photos per wedding, so it would be $60 for the first wedding, $50 for the 2 to 5th wedding, and then $40 for the rest of your wedding that month.
Okay.
And cropping and straightening are additional 1 cent each per photo. So if you choose to apply cropping and straightening, it will be 1 cent additional. We do have something which is quite confusing, might be confusing, which is the minimum of seven US dollars per month per profile. So only if you didn't edit at all that month, you would pay these $7, and they would be added to your credit.
Right.
The reason we use that is because we need to know that because we maintain your profile, we need to pay for storage, for servers.
Yes.
So we need to get some notion of understanding whether you're still using your user. So only if you didn't use your profile at all, we will charge you $7 per profile per month.
Mm-hmm.
But this will be added to your credit. So if you come back in 3 months later, you have a credit of $21 that you can use for editing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense, and I understand that about the storage side of things as well. So yeah, that makes total sense. Don't take quite as many images as that. So did you have a little testimonial you wanted to show us from a wedding photographer to give his views?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, so Ted Felsberg sent us a video of his, and I really like. I mean, that was quite amazing to see it, and I would be happy to share it. 1 second.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you see, if you can see my screen.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Hey everybody, my name is Ted Felsberg. I'm a wedding photographer in New Jersey. I just want to take you a quick second to tell you about ImagenAI. It's this really cool artificial intelligence editing software that, to me, when I heard about it, was instantly something I wanted to jump on. When I got my first edits back, I almost cried when the edits were populating into Lightroom and I was seeing exactly how close it was to how I edit everything. To just imagine how much time I'm going to save and how much of my life I'm going to get back from editing in my business, it's life-changing. I hope everyone who does photography tries this out. It's absolutely incredible, and it's going to really transform your business so you get your life back. I couldn't be more excited to share this with everybody I know, and I hope everybody will give it a try.
That's brilliant. Go.
Yeah, just amazing. We saw. It's hard for me to explain how much it's important to us to get this type of feedback and videos. It's really warming, and like we are very excited about it. So first of all, thank you, Ted, and second of all, like do share your feedback with us. Like this is something that we are doing every morning. We're reading feedbacks, we discussed about them, we think about if we can improve things, if we can, like be better at what we do. So please do keep on bringing the feedback.
Fantastic. And as I said before, you've got quite a few reviews on Trustpilot as well from photographers who are actually explaining how it's improved their business, how they've got more time with the family, they've got their life back. Especially, as I know myself, being a wedding photographer in the summer, it was you pretty much working flat out all the way through. So that is absolutely fantastic, and you can utilize that time to either grow your business, spend more time with your family, or be out there shooting and making more money. So it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and very, very good of you to offer that 1,500 free edits to my followers on LinkedIn as well. Tina, you've just joined us now. So Tina, you can just watch back under the hashtag creating successful photographers, my hashtag that you'll see in the post. If you just, once this is finished, it takes about 5 minutes to upload to LinkedIn, then you can just watch right the way back from the beginning. And Tina says she's going to try it out this week because she's got to shoot, and you've got some schools on, haven't you, Tina? So that's fantastic. Well, thanks again, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on board. Hope lots of you try this out. If you have any questions afterwards, pop them in the chat, because both me and the guys will log on and answer any questions that you have.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks again. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.